Brothers, sisters, and comrades of the African continent, and to all oppressed people of the world who are listening to me today, I did not come here to speak in riddles. I did not come here to cover my words in the empty cloth of diplomacy. I came here to speak truth, raw, sharp, and unyielding. Because silence, in these times, is no longer neutral. Silence is complicity. Silence is betrayal. And I refuse to betray the children whose blood stains the soil of Palestine. For too long, we have watched injustice play out on our screens as though it were a distant story. We have seen homes demolished, mothers weeping, fathers carrying the lifeless bodies of their children. We have seen bombs fall like rain, and we have seen the powerful of this world turn their faces away, muttering only the language of balance, as though there can be balance between the oppressor and the oppressed, between the occupier and the occupied. I stand here as a son of Africa, as a man whose country was shackled by colonialism, as a leader who knows the taste of resistance, and I say to the nations of the earth, enough. Enough of the hypocrisy, enough of the double standards, enough of the cowardice. If they will not listen to the cries of the innocent, then they must feel the power of our refusal. That is why today I call for a boycott of every product that carries the mark of oppression, a boycott of every company that profits from occupation, a boycott of every institution that normalizes the suffering of the Palestinian people. Do not buy from them. Do not sell to them. Do not dance with them on the stage of international diplomacy while they bury children in unmarked graves. This boycott is not hatred, it is justice. It is not vengeance, it is resistance. We do not raise the sword, we raise the conscience. We do not drop bombs, we drop the weight of truth and economic power. And let the powerful hear me clearly. Africa is not too weak to resist. We have been tested in the fire of slavery, colonization, and plunder, and yet we remain. If you think we will stand idle while another people are crushed, then you have misunderstood Africa. I know they will call me reckless. They will call me radical. They will try to isolate me, to intimidate me, to silence me. But I say to them, you cannot silence a generation that has awakened. You cannot bury a truth whose time has come. The world may tremble at these words, but I tremble not, because I know justice stands with me. This is only the beginning. From Ouagadougou to Gaza, from Bamako to Ramallah, from every village in Africa to every refugee camp in Palestine, we declare the silence is over. Brothers and sisters, do not believe for a moment that what we witness in Palestine is an isolated tragedy. No, it is the continuation of the same story we know too well, the story of colonization, of domination, of humiliation, written in blood across continents. And it is precisely because Africa knows this story that we cannot remain silent today. When I look at Gaza, I see echoes of our villages burned by colonial soldiers. I see the arrogance of empires who declared themselves masters of lands that were not theirs. I see the chains of slavery, the looting of resources, the humiliation of peoples told they were less than human. I see apartheid walls, checkpoints that divide families, and laws written not for justice, but for control. Tell me, is this not the same script used against Africa for centuries? And yet we are told by those in power, do not interfere, do not speak too loudly, accept the world as it is. But I ask them, who are you to tell Africa to be silent? Who are you to say we cannot recognize the injustice we have endured for centuries repeating itself in another land? We know oppression when we see it because it carves scars into our own skin. They will tell you that boycotts are extreme, but was it not boycotts that struck down apartheid in South Africa? Was it not solidarity that made the powerful tremble when ordinary people refused to buy, to trade, to normalize a system built on racial domination? They call it extremism, I call it history, and history stands on the side of those who resist. Listen to me carefully. The occupation of Palestine is not just about land, it is about dignity, it is about identity. It is about the right of a people to exist without chains on their necks and bombs above their heads. If we, who have walked barefoot on the hot soil of Africa under the gaze of colonizers, refuse to act, then we betray not only Palestine but also our own ancestors who resisted slavery and imperialism. And so I say, let us transform our memory into action. Let us honor the freedom fighters who came before us by refusing to fund oppression today. Every coin you spend carries a message. Every product you choose or reject becomes a weapon. And if we raise this weapon of conscience together, there is no empire on earth that can withstand it. Let the powerful hear this truth. The weight of history is not on their side, it is on ours. The same winds that tore down colonial flags from African capitals will tear down the walls of apartheid in Palestine. The same voices that once shouted Uhuru across this continent will one day echo freedom for Palestine across the world. This is not the dream of a naive idealist. It is the certainty of history. Empires rise and fall, but the will of a people who refuse to kneel cannot be broken. Africa remembers. Africa resists. And today, Africa stands with Palestine. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you the truth that many dare not speak. The powerful of this world are cowards. They wear fine suits, they gather in grand halls, they speak the language of human rights, yet when confronted with the suffering of Palestine, they lower their eyes like guilty men. They tremble not because they lack the strength to act, but because they lack the courage to defy their masters. Look at the leaders of the so-called free world. They claim to be defenders of democracy, yet they applaud the bombing of schools and hospitals. They claim to uphold international law, yet they veto every resolution that dares to challenge Israel's crimes. They cry for Ukraine, but they turn their backs on Gaza. Their double standards stink of hypocrisy, and I say to them, your silence condemns you. Your complicity will follow you like a shadow through history. I do not speak these words lightly. I know the price of resistance. I know the threats that come when you dare to raise your voice. They will call me dangerous. They will accuse me of hatred. They will try to starve my country of aid, to isolate us, to label us as outcasts. But let them come with their weapons of intimidation. We are not afraid. Africa has stared down empires before, and we are still here. It is cowardice that makes powerful nations kneel before corporations that profit from occupation. It is cowardice that silences journalists, that censors truth, that criminalizes solidarity. They fear the boycott because they know it works. They fear the resistance because they know it inspires. They fear the voices of the oppressed because they know it unmasks their lies. And to those Arab leaders who embrace handshakes drenched in blood, who sign deals while Gaza burns, I say this: history will not forgive you. You betray not only Palestine but your own dignity. Do not hide behind the excuse of pragmatism, for there is no pragmatism in selling the soul of a people. You bow to power today, but tomorrow your children will ask you why you stood with the oppressor instead of the oppressed, and what answer will you give them? Brothers and sisters, cowardice is contagious, but so is courage. When one nation dares to resist, others are inspired. When one voice breaks the silence, millions rise to join the chorus. That is why they fear us. That is why they try to silence us. But the truth is louder than their lies, and our courage is stronger than their fear. So let them tremble in their cowardice. Let them hide behind their vetoes and their propaganda machines. We will not hide. We will not kneel. We will not betray the oppressed. Africa will stand tall, and by standing, we will remind the world that justice is not a favor handed down by the powerful, it is a right seized by the brave. And to the children of Gaza, to the mothers of Palestine, I say this: you are not forgotten, your cries are not in vain. The cowards may pretend not to hear you, but Africa hears you. And Africa answers, we are with you. Brothers and sisters, many will ask me, why boycott? Why not simply condemn with words? Why not issue statements like others do and move on? And to them I say, words without action are dust carried by the wind. Boycott is action. Boycott is power. Boycott is the weapon of the people when governments betray their duty. When we boycott, we are not simply refusing a product, we are refusing to fund oppression. Every coin you spend is a vote, every purchase an endorsement. If that purchase sustains the occupation of Palestine, then it is not just commerce, it is complicity. When we choose differently, when we collectively say no, we transform our wallets into shields of resistance and our markets into battlefields of conscience. Some will dismiss it as symbolic, but do not be deceived. Did not the boycott of South African apartheid force a racist system to its knees? Did not global solidarity break the chains of segregation, even when governments preferred silence? Let the world remember, apartheid did not fall because the powerful had a change of heart. It fell because ordinary people refused to cooperate with injustice. That same spirit must be awakened again. When we boycott, we reclaim our dignity. We say, we will not eat fruit grown on stolen land. We will not wear clothes sewn with the thread of oppression. We will not consume the products of blood and then wash our H. Do not be afraid of failure. Do not be afraid of mistakes. The greatest mistake you could make is to remain silent, to remain comfortable while others bleed. You may not be able to change everything at once, but you can change something. And when millions of young people change something together, the world cannot remain the same. And I say to you, youth of Palestine, though the world may abandon you, know this: you are not alone. The youth of Africa walk with you. We see you. We honor your courage. We carry your fight in our hearts. When you throw stones against tanks, you remind us that resistance is not measured by the size of the weapon, but by the size of the heart. Young people, rise. Rise in your schools, in your streets, in your villages, in your cities. Rise not with hatred, but with defiance. Rise not with despair, but with determination. Let your voices shake the palaces of presidents. Let your boycotts empty the pockets of corporations. Let your unity send a message to every oppressor. The youth of the world are awake, and they will not kneel. This is your time. This is your moment. History is calling your name. Answer it with courage. Answer it with dignity. Answer it with resistance. For if you do, generations yet unborn will speak of you as the youth who refused to bow to injustice and who carried the torch of freedom to victory. Brothers and sisters, let me speak now of silence, that heavy, poisonous silence that so many leaders wrap themselves in when faced with injustice. I tell you today, silence is not neutrality. Silence is betrayal. Too many governments stand on the sidelines and say, we cannot take sides. But in truth, they have already taken a side, the side of the oppressor. For when bombs fall on children and you do nothing, you have chosen. When hospitals are reduced to rubble and you remain quiet, you have chosen. When an entire people are denied their right to exist and you hide behind diplomacy, you have chosen. Silence is not innocent, it is a weapon, wielded by the cowardly to shield the crimes of the powerful. They will tell you they are being balanced. But what balance can exist between the hand that holds the whip and the back that bleeds? What balance can exist between the occupier and the occupied, between tanks and stones, between fighter jets and refugee camps? To speak of balance in the face of such injustice is to mock the truth, to spit in the face of the oppressed. Let me be clear, Africa will not be silent. Our silence once cost us centuries of chains. Our silence once allowed colonizers to steal our lands and our dignity. We will not repeat that mistake. The betrayal of silence must end here, must end now. For every leader who trembles in fear of losing foreign aid, there is a child in Gaza trembling under bombs. For every diplomat who hesitates to speak truth, there is a mother burying her son. Which silence is greater? Which betrayal is deeper? And I say this to the so-called international community, your conferences and resolutions mean nothing if they are not backed by courage. Your words of deep concern are worth less than the tears of a single Palestinian child. History will not remember your silence kindly. It will mark you as accomplices, as those who had power but chose cowardice. But silence is not only the betrayal of leaders, it is also the betrayal of ordinary people when we look away. When we scroll past images of suffering and say, it is not my problem. When we buy products that fund oppression and say, what difference can I make? Each silence, each indifference, each excuse adds weight to the chains of the oppressed. So I call upon you, do not betray Palestine with your silence. Speak, act, resist. Let your voice be louder than the lies, your conscience stronger than the threats. For every word spoken in truth weakens the oppressor. For every act of solidarity, a wall of silence crumbles. And remember this, history does not forgive silence. History does not absolve neutrality. When the oppressed cry out, there are only two sides, justice or injustice. Choose wisely, for the record of your choice will outlive you. Brothers and sisters, every struggle has its night, a night of fear, of suffering, of betrayal, a night where the oppressor believes he has won, because he controls the guns, the banks, the airwaves. But I tell you, no night lasts forever. Every night yields to dawn, and today I declare the dawn of justice is coming. They think their bombs will silence Palestine. They think their vetoes will bury the truth. They think their walls will keep freedom out. But what they cannot see is that the sun is already rising. It rises in the chants of young people across the world. It rises in the courage of mothers who refuse to give up. It rises in the boycott campaigns that grow stronger every day. It rises in the awakening of nations who are no longer afraid to say, enough. Yes, the oppressor has power, but the oppressed have time, and time is the ally of justice. Empires rise and fall, none have endured forever, and those who today claim invincibility will tomorrow be remembered as relics of a shameful past. Just as colonial flags were lowered across Africa, so too will the walls of apartheid in Palestine fall. Just as apartheid crumbled in South Africa, so too will occupation crumble in the Holy Land. I say to the oppressed, hold on, your suffering is not forgotten, your sacrifice is not in vain. We hear you, we walk with you, and I promise you, you will be free. Not because the oppressor grants it, but because you seize it. Freedom is never given, it is taken. I say to the oppressor, tremble, your time is short, your lies are unraveling, your power is brittle. You may control the present, but you cannot change the future. The children who survive your bombs will grow to become the leaders who end your reign. The world you mock as weak will rise as strong, and the name of justice will be written where once you wrote only domination. And I say to Africa, rise. Do not doubt your voice. Do not underestimate your strength. You are the continent of resistance, the birthplace of dignity, the keeper of memory. You have defeated empires before, and you will stand as a beacon again. Let your voice thunder across the world. Africa stands with Palestine. Africa stands with justice. Africa stands with the oppressed everywhere. Brothers and sisters, this is our hour. The dawn is near. The oppressor's night is long, but the light of resistance cannot be extinguished. Let us march forward together, refusing silence, refusing complicity, refusing fear. For when the dawn comes, and it will come, history will remember not the power of the oppressors, but the courage of the oppressed. and the solidarity of those who stood with them. And so I end with these words: the boycott is our weapon, solidarity is our shield, justice is our destiny. Let us walk together toward the dawn of justice, until freedom rings in Gaza, in Jerusalem, in every corner of the world where oppression still breathes. The night is ending, the dawn belongs to us.